What's up everybody, this is Master EN Gamer. Perhaps one of the most exciting new things coming with the release of Overwatch 2 is the brand new fully fledged PvE game modes. But while sadly it sounds like we've still got a long time to wait before any of us will actually get our hands on Overwatch 2, there has been another game which came out just recently that has been more than quenching my thirst for co-op PvE, and that's Back 4 Blood. Perhaps best described as the spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead franchise, Back 4 Blood has a lot of the same PvE gameplay and mechanics we've been led to expect from the upcoming Overwatch sequel. So for today's video, I thought it'd be interesting to highlight some of my favorite aspects of Back 4 Blood and consider how they could be implemented into Overwatch 2 to make it the best it can be. This is 5 things Overwatch 2 PvE needs to succeed, featuring Back 4 Blood. Real quick first though, I'd like to remind you to subscribe and hit up that bell icon if you're new to my channel to never miss out on any future Overwatch and Overwatch 2 news and content. But now, let's get on to the video. Starting off with number 5, we have macro progression. In Back 4 Blood, the main gameplay focus is the playable PvE campaigns, where 4 human players progress through a campaign of different levels while fighting off different types of zombies who come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. But as you progress through these campaigns and even replay old ones you've already beaten before, you earn supply points, which are used to purchase upgrades outside of the campaigns themselves, in addition to various cosmetic items for your character, weapons, and profile. Having this sort of rudimentary progression system really helps to flesh out the gameplay, as it feels like you're not only beating the mission you're set on specifically, but also you're making overall progress in the game itself by unlocking new and different abilities that you can bring on each mission, and being able to switch up how you look in the game itself. Now, when it comes to Overwatch 2, we already know that there will be some form of macro progression, specifically in regards to the hero talents. Blizzard hasn't shown us much about these talent systems just yet, but we do know that as you play through the PvE, you'll be able to level up individual heroes to unlock new perks and abilities that can change how your hero works and overall make them stronger on any given campaign. But beyond just this talent system, I'd also like to see Overwatch 2's PvE allow cosmetic progression as well, whether that means exclusive skins, sprays, emotes, or other cosmetics that are only obtainable through playing the PvE missions, or just earning some type of currency from playing PvE that contributes to being able to unlock other types of cosmetics. Any and all of those would be a fantastic addition to help make the PvE of Overwatch 2 feel more satisfying and rewarding as you play through a mission. That way, even if you don't necessarily succeed on every mission you go on, you'll still be able to get that feeling of progression by gradually working towards higher goals of leveling up the strength of your characters and getting some sweet looking skins. Moving on to number 4 though, the next thing we need in Overwatch 2's PvE is good character interactions. Like its predecessor series Left 4 Dead, much of the storytelling in Back 4 Blood is told through the characters themselves interacting via dialogue on the specific missions. These built-in, natural feeling character interactions greatly help to flesh out the world you're playing in, while also building up the characters themselves and establishing different traits about them. The in-mission dialogue might establish that one of the characters doesn't have a very great relationship with his father, but given that it's a zombie apocalypse and, well, not many people are left, he has to overcome these differences and try to seek out whatever family he has left, no matter what sort of relationship he had with them prior to everything going to hell. And on top of that, depending on which specific characters you bring on any given mission, you'll get different dialogue where they interact with each other differently and react in different ways to what happens on the mission itself. Now, looking at Overwatch 2, Blizzard has mentioned that they do plan on having some sort of variant dialogues and interactions when it comes to the specific heroes, depending on who you bring on which missions. We of course haven't really seen any examples of what this is going to look like just yet, but considering the already very good interactions we get between heroes in the current Overwatch 1 PvP, whether it's the dialogue they have at the start of the match or specific interactions when they take out or protect other characters, I have high hopes for Overwatch 2 in terms of its storytelling capabilities when it comes to just playing the missions and seeing how the characters interact with the world around them and the other people they're working with. Moving on though to number 3, we have Loadout Variety. In Back 4 Blood, there's quite a bit of variety actually when it comes to how any given mission plays out, specifically with regards to your character's abilities. Each of the currently 8 playable characters have their own unique set of strengths and special abilities, but on top of that, you can also use cards, which are part of the progression system, to add even more perks and upgrades and give you different abilities on an individual campaign. But even on top of this, there's also the aspect of how every given mission is going to have a randomized set of different weapons and items you come across as you progress through it. One time you play a campaign, you might right off the bat find a super powerful LMG with a ton of great weapon upgrades that you'll carry throughout the entire mission. But on your next time playing through, maybe all you'll come across is a weak shotgun and a dinky little pistol, and you'll have to adjust your playstyle accordingly to make do with what you have and hopefully find something a bit better as you continue on with the mission. This type of RNG variety is fantastic when it comes to PvE games, as it always keeps you on your toes because you never know what you're going to come across next. Even if you've played the game enough to know every type of weapon and how they work, you're never going to know exactly what you'll get to use on a particular mission, and thus you have to be open-minded and plan accordingly to be able to work with whatever you end up having. Not only does this help to keep the game incredibly fresh by forcing you to try different things periodically, but also it makes the game challenging, as in certain instances you aren't necessarily going to have the tools you need, and you'll be forced to find a way to work around that. Now, when it comes to Overwatch 2, this is an area where I'm hoping Blizzard is going to succeed, but currently I'm a bit skeptical. We do have the talent system, which I mentioned earlier, and I think is going to be a phenomenal addition to the PvE side of Overwatch, but from what we've seen so far, it seems like the PvE talent trees are basically just upgrades that you select before going into the mission, and thus they're going to make that hero too predictable and straightforward in terms of what they're going to be able to do in the actual mission. The pick-upable item system, which was first shown back at BlizzCon 2019, has since been confirmed to be something they've removed from Overwatch 2 as they felt it didn't fit with the different heroes, but I do hope that there is still some amount of gameplay RNG when it comes to playing on the missions themselves. I don't think it's nearly as fun in a PvE game like this to go into a mission already knowing fully what you're going to come across every step of the way, as opposed to having that random element where you have to keep on your toes and consider which options available to you at any given time are the best choice to go with. This type of mission-to-mission unpredictability is important for keeping the game interesting, challenging, and above all else, replayable. Moving on to number 2 though, the next thing Overwatch 2 needs is diverse and challenging enemies. Looking at Back 4 Blood again, this is something which the game does a great job with. Not only are there the common runner zombies who are just going to harass you endlessly, but there's also a number of different special zombies who have their own unique powers and unique ways of countering them. You might come across the Tall Boy, who is an exceptionally powerful zombie who, I have to admit, really needs to work on better balancing his workout routine, but can best be countered by keeping your distance and out of the range of his massive smash attack. Other special zombies have ranged attacks where they might be able to shoot you from a long distance and pin you to a specific point, at which point you require one of your teammates to break you out. Or you could even have the giant ogre boss zombie, which takes a lot of firepower and a lot of teamwork in order to take out. Overall, this large variety of different enemy types and the different strategies you need to employ to actually defeat them really emphasizes the challenge of Back 4 Blood and especially focuses on the requirement of having teamwork in order to get through. Now, looking at Overwatch 2 again, we know that there will be special types of enemy units who fit these same sort of diverse and challenging themes. Whether it's the artillery Omnic who can deal massive damage at long range, or the creepy puller Omnic who sucks you in with a tractor beam, so far Blizzard has shown us that there's going to be quite a bit of variety, it seems, in terms of the different enemy types we actually encounter. And given that we've already seen a fair amount of diversity when it comes to the different types of enemies we encounter, specifically even just in the Overwatch 1 Archives PvE missions, I have high hopes for Blizzard hitting us with some really creative, really fun to fight against enemy types that greatly help to flesh out the enemy factions and provide us with some great challenge. But now, coming to the number one thing Overwatch 2's PvE needs to be great, we have single player mode. Back 4 Blood has actually really surprised me with just how single-player friendly the game is. The main game mode may be 4-player co-op where 4 human players fight against wave after wave of AI zombies, but it also has a designated single-player mode which is specifically designed for people who want to play through Back 4 Blood in its various campaigns, but don't have friends to do it with, or simply just want to do it by themselves. Not only will this mode just automatically provide you with 3 AI companions to help you get through the campaign, but it also rebalances the game itself to be more friendly for someone who's playing by themselves. Specifically, this manifests in the form of less crowd control from the special zombie types I mentioned earlier, in addition to simplified objectives that the player has to complete, since you only have one person who's capable of doing things such as carrying certain containers or needing to interact with objectives on the map. And while this is a fantastic way to be able to enjoy the gameplay of Back 4 Blood as just a single person, perhaps most importantly, and the biggest reason why I love this as a feature in Back 4 Blood, is that it allows an individual to experience the story of Back 4 Blood and all the progress of the various campaigns without having to worry about dealing with other people. I'm sure we've all had an experience in a game like this where we're just wanting to play through the game, have a good time, and maybe hear what the characters have to say, only to have some obnoxious auto-matched teammates ruin the experience for us. Maybe they're just constantly wanting to jump through the cutscenes because they've already seen them all before, or they're constantly talking over the characters' in-game dialogue because they just don't care about the story. Regardless of your circumstance, it's great that Back 4 Blood has this specific single-player mode, as it's a great option for people who, for whatever reason, just want to play by themselves. And while Overwatch has always been a game that focused on teamwork and working together with other human players, I think for the PvE mode specifically, it's imperative that they have a similar sort of single-player friendly variant to allow people to specifically experience and enjoy the campaign and story content of the game without having to rely on other human players. Blizzard did acknowledge back at BlizzCon 2019 that they were looking into adding AI teammates in order for people to play without a full stack of 4 human players, but since then we haven't heard any more about whether or not they've continued with these plans. So while only time will tell whether we'll actually get to experience the story of Overwatch 2 without having some high-pitched shrieker constantly screaming in our headset ears while we're trying to listen to the characters talk to each other, it is by far the thing Blizzard needs to focus on most in terms of making the Overwatch 2 PvE a great, enjoyable experience for as many people as possible. And that does it for 5 things Overwatch 2 PvE needs to succeed. Have you played Back 4 Blood? And if so, is there anything from the game I didn't mention here that you think would be a fantastic addition to Overwatch 2? If so, let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up that bell icon to never miss out on any of my future Overwatch and Overwatch 2 news and content. And special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible. If you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.